Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to be making a stacked embossed card. Now I'd seen this done a couple of times before and I was very curious as to how it was done. I thought you embossed each piece individually and then put them together, but no. Come to find out, this nifty little trick, you actually place each piece centered as you would assemble them into your card and run it through your embossing machine just like that. So the measurements that I used for my white cardstock were 4 by 5 1/4. For the middle piece it was 3 1/2 by 2 1/4. And for the smallest piece it was 2 3/8 by 1 1/8. And for the blue pieces that I'm going to be using as what I call the mats in the back, the main piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. The next piece is 2 3/4 by 4. And the smallest piece is 1 1/2 by 2 3/4. So that's the pieces that we're going to use. So I've taken my embossing folder and I'm using an embossing folder by Couture Creations and it's called Extra Flint. And you will have seen this before. It was in my $1 haul video. So I got this one for $1 and I got a few others by this brand and they're actually quite durable. I'm very impressed with these embossing folders. So after I've embossed my white sheets already stacked, I'm going to adhere them onto their coordinating blue mats or backgrounds or edges or frames or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to center them as best as I can by eyeballing them. And I'm not going to do the assembly just yet because I do want to add a bit more color to them. So now that I've assembled them all to their back mats, I'm going to be using just a plain ink pad. I'm using Ranger's Caribbean Coast, I believe the color is called. And I'm just taking the ink pad and rubbing it very gently over the embossed areas. And I'm going to do it on all 3 cards. Now you'll see my little trick for storing my blending tool mini pads on the back. I just adhere them right onto the back of every ink pad I have with not Velcro, but just a little dot of adhesive works fine for me. And it's far less expensive than buying Velcro for every single ink pad. Now I know normally the distress ink blending tools and the mini blending tools are only primarily made for distress ink, but I actually have an easier time blending with this tool, the Ranger dye pads or dye ink pads, than distress inks. I am horrible at blending distress inks. That's why anytime you'll see me do a project using distress inks, you can clearly tell I am not skilled at it. No matter how much I practice and how much I keep going, it's not a talent of mine. It's definitely not a strong point. So now I wanted to add a little sentiment on this and I didn't want it to be blurred in or lost in the very chaotic background. So I don't have a tag die. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my smallest rectangle. It is from Simon Says Stamp, I believe it's Stitched Rectangles, and I'm going to put it double stamped or double cut in a row, leaving the edges hanging off. That way, of course, it doesn't cut right through. So, and then I'm also going to turn it on its side and make the triangle cut out at the end. So I ended up with this. I wish I could explain it a bit better, but I'll have to do a quick video of it sometime just to show it. It's really easy. So I did that and I grabbed a stamp set that I have. It is from Simon Says Stamp and I'm going to use the sentiment on it saying thank you. So now it's time to assemble everything and put everything together. I just used my tape runner and I put it on the back of the middle-sized card and I'm just going to line it up the best as I can against the previous pattern so that it seems like it flows into each other as if it wasn't cut out or layered on. It's more like to look like there's just a frame placed around it. So I'm going to do that with the middle layer and then the very top layer as well. Just place them on, line them up, make sure that it looks very flowing, and then it's going to be putting on the sentiment. For this part I just used some dimensional adhesive foam squares to adhere it on because of the fact that the card ends up being a little bit more layered. If I were just to adhere it right on, it would look wrinkled or it would look stairwayed, and I wasn't going for that effect. So I used the dimensional squares, adhered the sentiment on, and that was the end of the card. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. We do have a contest going on for all of our subscribers. It is going until February 29th, and one subscriber will be chosen to win a stamp set from Art Impressions. Contest is open worldwide, so feel free to subscribe and be entered into that. For more information on this card and many others, you can stop by my website at www.kaylasgood.com. And as always, happy crafting!